Welcome to TYTSports, Francis Maxwell here. So discipline takes over the headlines once again in the La Liga. Nope, Ronaldo has not been punished for his punch. It is actually Diego Simeone. He has been given a substantial ban, let's be honest, 8 games for his actions during the Super Cup second leg against Real Madrid. To break down the suspension, he was given 4 games for tapping the 4th official on the back of his head, a tap must be said, 2 games for protesting the decision, 1 game for applauding his red card, and a further game for remaining in the stands despite being given instructions to leave the stadium after his red card. Simeone actually came out on the Monday and said what happened. He doesn't want to talk about it. He said when one makes a mistake, it's fair to pay for it. So he's clearly accepted his suspension. If I was in his shoes, I wouldn't be so easy to accept the suspension, I must say, with the way everything's been going on in the La Liga. Cristiano Ronaldo yet to face any punishment for his haymaker that he landed on Diego Godin, 2 maybe. And I don't think it should be a harsh decision on Ronaldo. I think it was caught up in the heat with the way both of them were tussling in the box, but I definitely think that some sort of punishment had to be given out. And the fact that Diego Simeone now faces 8 games, that is a substantial amount of the season. And he's such an influential manager. As you see, his team relies a lot on his coaching decisions. Of course, it'll be left up to the assistant now, and he can influence. But 8 games away from the team is a substantial amount for what must be a silly act from him. But I don't think 8 games is right for that at the moment. I think a lesser punishment would have been acceptable. What do you think, Ben?
No, you can't. He touched a referee.
Yeah.
You can't touch a referee.
I know.
You know, and so he got 4 games for that. That seems reasonable. And then you commit like 4 or 5 other acts of defiance. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know. I think overall that sounds totally reasonable. I mean, you got to have some parameters into what's an acceptable punishment. I mean, you think it should be less, what, like 6? You know, so, I mean, if you think 6 is okay, then 8's okay, because you can't, you know, this is all guesswork here. Mm-hmm. But 4 games for the initial touch seems reasonable. It could be 3, I suppose. But then he doesn't leave in a timely fashion, right? That's worth a game right there. And then he flips, what did he do? He flipped off the...
He didn't stay in the stadium. He
something about the red card, didn't he?
Oh, no, he applauded it.
Oh, he applauded. So then he sort of mocked it. Yeah. That one is the one that that's all part of the same thing. Exactly. But then you go sit in the stands. Like, to me, that might be worth 3 or 4 games right there. So I don't know.
When you put it that way, I do understand. But what the background of the La Liga itself, if you watch during the games, the referee, when he makes a decision, the players are right in his face, and a lot of them have laid their hands on the referee. And I think the pristine names would not face a charge, and this is the point I continue to make. If it was Cristiano Ronaldo who touched the referee, perhaps from a bad decision, I guarantee he wouldn't be facing 2 or 3 game ban.
That may be, but that said, you can treat the coaches more harshly. Yeah, they should be held. You can argue they should be held to a high standard. Yeah. That said, if you want to start cleaning it up and getting the players out of the referee's face and having them start next time. Do it 1 time. Yeah. Give Ronaldo a 6-game suspension when he makes contact with a referee. I bet they don't do it much anymore. And correct me if I'm wrong here, because Lord knows I could be. Get another referee on the field, right?
On the field, they've tried it.
And what happens?
Not on the field. So they have the linesmen, and they had.
I mean, on the.
So they had a guy who still wasn't technically on the field. I think there's the argument that it would be too crowded, but there was a guy who is in the 6-yard box. Who that was for to kind of judge penalty decisions maybe, and I thought it was a great idea. And they had him in the European games a lot, and the referee, it seemed to work. It was kind of to judge that and goal line technology, and they just got rid of him because they brought in goal line technology. But goal line technology still will not give another perspective on a penalty kick inside the box, and a lot of these decisions are controversial. I just think I agree. I think they need more officiating in that area, whether it's going to be on the field or not.
I think there should be 1 referee for every player on the pitch. So
just kind of standing by them.
So but you don't need 1 for the goalie. So that would be what, 20 referees?
Yeah.
I think that's what you should have. Like each referee assigned to 1 guy.
So then 40 though, because it's 2 teams. You want or just for both teams?
No. Just 20. Just
20.
Yeah, I'll play it 1 time. Yeah, just 20 referees. I think
sounds reasonable. But I do agree with your point that I think they have to set a message that you can't be in a referee's face. I think in the World Cup there was a lot of points where players were in referees' like basically personal space right in his face, and their hands have been touched on him. But as you said, coaches need to be held more accountable for this. But then Ronaldo has just punched, I don't know if you've seen the clip, he's punched Diego Godin when they got in a tussle in the box. So if you're going to make a clear example of the coach, then you have to do the same thing for a player like that.
Punching another player, you can't touch, like there's some sacrosanct rules. You can't compromise the integrity of the game by threatening a referee, and that's what that is.
Yeah.
So you got to go for that. I got no beef. There's almost no punishment that I think is too extreme for that. I wouldn't throw him out for the whole season, but that's if he shoved him, I might. But whatever.
Yeah.
For this transgression, it seems reasonable. Punching another player in the context of the game, and given the history that soccer has for that, it's a little like hockey. Hey, it happens. It's not. I think they should work to eliminate it, but given that context, I don't think those things are the same. Yeah. It's like gambling. It's why I don't have any beef with the Pete Rose ban, to get to a story that's also relevant today. You can't obviously you can't gamble against your team. That's a no, but you can't bet on the game your team's. You can't do it. You can't do it. You're gone for good. It's different than the Hall of Fame, but you're out. You can't participate in it.
Our producer Jason got very heated on this matter on the way in. Jason, you want to weigh in on why you think the punishment should be a little more lenient for Simeone?
I just think that they're completely imbalanced because Suarez is biting people and they flip-flop back and forth on, okay, now he can play friendlies, now he can't, now he could, he's going to be back for El Clasico, which is Madrid versus Barcelona. Real Madrid versus Barcelona.
You think we can get Jason to say Barcelona?
Well, he used to call it Barca until I
would say how to really annoy every soccer fan in the world is, are you watching the Barca versus Real game later? And of course, I'm joking.
Just give Barcelona one try.
Barcelona.
All right.
Good. Not bad.
But I just think it's not so much that he touched a referee. I see that. But there's got to be some balance. If they're not going to suspend Ronaldo, or they haven't decided on what they're going to do with Ronaldo for punching a player twice, even though he looked like he was getting choked out in the beginning of it by, who was it, Godin?
Godin, yeah.
Yeah. So there's got to be more balance. It seems like, Suarez bites a guy for the third time.
Yeah.
Back and forth on what they're going to do with him. Okay, this guy, Diego Simeone, touches the refs in the back of the head and starts applauding him. 8 games just doesn't make sense.
I can see both points. It'll be interesting to see. I think there's still a decision to be made on where Ronaldo will be punished further. I doubt it will be taken to that point. But the Court of Arbitration seems to be there for bigger teams to try and find any loophole in what should be punished for them. Atletico Madrid are considered a big team now, so I am surprised that the suspension is that much. If they appeal it, you never know. They might get a few games knocked off of that. We'll see.
I would imagine appealing it as a matter of course.
Yeah.
You automatically appeal it.
Yeah. So, but it'll be interesting to stay tuned. Stay tuned today. Real Madrid have their first game coming up on Monday Night Football. España version that's coming today, and we'll make sure to cover that.
Monday Night Football. Man.
Well, Ben's up around. They've actually called it Monday Night Football now, as it's actually taken over the planet. I think ESPN are on the phone. They're trying to run their version of Monday Night Football.
You cannot call it Monday Night.
All right. Thank you for tuning in.